All right, Rob, let's get into it. Deshaun Watson in the news. Obviously, he's not leaving the news for a while, but there have been some new developments. Rob G, kind of summarize kind of the new stuff that's out there.
Sure. There was a huge expose that came out earlier on Tuesday evening from the New York Times in which they reported that Deshaun Watson had booked appointments with at least 66 different women within a 17-month span.
My goodness.
Okay. Now, not all of those women are going to be the ones pressing charges. Some of them were women who were, vouching for Deshaun Watson. But several of them who were listed in the article, who are not part of the lawsuits, allege that Watson was, quote, begging for sexual acts during their sessions, and that Watson was given non-disclosure agreements by the Houston Texans in the wake of one allegation in which one woman threatened to expose him for what he was doing. Now, this
and Rob G, isn't it also reported that many of the 66 women were not
correct
masseuses, like licensed,
not licensed masseuses. In fact,
so then right, they're like just women on
Instagram or whatever.
In fact, there was one instance where he went through a legitimate massage therapy, company, but the 3 women he got massages from that company were not masseuses. They did other things, and they just got asked to do massages.
I'm not, Chris. I'm not saying that anybody's guilty or anything, but the idea that they're not masseuses bothers me. That you're not even like going through reputable. There are people who need massages and massage parlors and massage therapists, right? That bothers me.
You're linking up with women that, if they're not real masseuses, then what's the purpose?
Right. That's what I'm saying to you.
If they're not, if you really need massage therapy or just like real massages,
you're going to go to a real
masseuse. You're not just going to pick random. You're going to go to somebody that knows what they're doing. And so I'm like, you look, we've said it. We're on the record.
We're innocent until proven guilty.
Right. We're not saying he's guilty, saying they're lying. We're not saying any of that because we don't know. But the circumstantial evidence, at least it's been reported, is crazy. It's like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens, Rob. The circumstantial evidence
is overwhelming.
Right. And there's just no denying that. And so go ahead, Rob G.
Yeah. Well, there was more to come out on Tuesday for Deshaun Watson, which is never a good sign. Even a couple hours actually before the New York Times expose came out, Pro Football Talk's Mike Florio, who is an attorney or was an attorney before he got into media, was writing a column on his website, which was discussing the 24th civil suit, which we talked about yesterday. Now, we don't know if part of this New York Times are going to be more suits coming out, but as of the time, there was the 24 yesterday. Because Rusty Hardin, which is Deshaun Watson's attorney, suggested that they didn't know about this 24th lawsuit, which was coming up. There are provisions, according to Florio, in Watson's contract that would allow the Cleveland Browns to void out all guarantees from his deal and cut him free and clear if it turns out that he was not forthright about what might come with extra women, specifically if this 24th woman or any person who else comes forward leads to an actual criminal charge, because that would, again, void his guarantees in the contract.
And Chris, you know why they put that in, because they were afraid that there would be something coming down the road.
You got to put that in.
You have to. Otherwise, you'd be on the hook.
It would be negligent not to. Absolutely. Absolutely. And look, I'll say this, because we just talked about, him having these women who aren't masseuses linking up. There is that, Rob G, the evidence appears to say that they all knew that it was going to be a massage, right?
Correct. When he booked them, they were all for massages.
Now, no matter what your intentions are with a woman, no matter what type of agreement you have, if she wants you to stop doing something or she doesn't agree to something, you need to stop.
Once they say stop, Chris, it's
then
stop.
You need to stop. Or if you think they want, you think we're getting vibes that they're down and they're not, then you need to stop. But so just as we said, Rob, that he was going out and hiring women who weren't professional masseuses, which is a little odd. Why did these women agree who weren't masseuses to meet him and give him massages? So now, again, no matter what he was thinking, no matter what the agreement was, if they're like, we're not with it, then he needs to stop. But I'm just saying, just trying to be fair.
No, I
throwing
agree.
out both sides. You know?
Yeah, but these are Rob G, and I know we're not asking you to read them, but some of the most graphic stuff I've seen, Chris. Like, did you?
Yeah.
Like Rob G, is this the most graphic you've seen?
Some of the stuff.
No, I mean, I've read a few graphic things before, but
maybe I never read them in stories that were online.
A few of them were graphic before.
And Rob, to your point though, if you read this one, the New York Times, if you read a previous one, Sports Illustrated, if you read whatever your expose was, a lot of them follow a similar pattern with what was going on, allegedly with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
So if you read one, you kind of read them all at this point.
Let's just keep it real. It looks like he was using this like a dating service, to put it kindly.
Right.
That's what it looked like. You know, but we'll see. But here's the crux of the matter, Rob. Rob G just showed how the reports are that if this is his lawyer, Rusty Hardin, said they weren't aware of this woman, her name, who gave the 24th civil suit. And the Browns, if that's the case, because obviously the Browns had language in their contract saying, look, anything else, bruh.
Dude, right. If there's any other surprise, exactly. Like you're saying this is it. You don't have any other things we're gonna have a bombshell blow up in our face, right? When we bring you to the press conference.
Right.
We need to know.
And so, and Rob, this is interesting too. Rusty Hardin said, no, he's a lawyer. He's an accomplished lawyer. He's been in cases, controversial cases. Big time cases. He knows what he's doing. For him to say publicly, we didn't know about this woman. This is the first we didn't know about this name. This is the first we've heard of this name. Rob, I'm wondering, is he upset with Deshaun? Because why would you put that out there? Even if it's true, as a lawyer, why would you put it out there?
You wouldn't. You would be like, we don't have a statement at this time.
Yep, and leave it at that. Because he said that, but he went further.
Right.
And is he upset? Is he looking at Deshaun like, yo, you said you told us everything, and now we got this? And also his reputation has been a bit sullied after his comments over the weekend about happy endings and stuff, and that's his fault.
No, but he shouldn't.
He
shouldn't be putting that out there like that, though, Chris. That just doesn't sound right. And
you mean we didn't know? This is the first we've seen.
No, just the making light of a happy ending.
Right.
It's tasteless.
All of that.
It's tasteless. Like there are people who are saying they were traumatized from this, and you're like joking about it. That's what I mean. I don't think that's where you want to go.
It's a horrible look.
Exactly.
And that's why I wonder, does he feel like he is beginning to look like a fool publicly?
Yeah. And I think if you're Deshaun Watson or if you're the Browns, I'm sure they're having meetings. Can we get out of this? What's going to happen?
So what would you do?
I would be afraid. I'm going to say, Chris, I notice it would be like crazy, but I would say let's get out of this, only from the standpoint that as time goes on, we know we're not going to have them for this year. Like we both have said this.
Well, we think
it's going to be.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying, but we're
right.
As the evidence continues to pile up, do you see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, well, if the NFL had come to a head, Chris, and maybe said 6 or 8 games, now they got another case. So what are they going to say? Oh, no, all right, here's another case. Are we going to have another one after we give him his verdict? After we give him his penalty? Is there going to be another 4 women? What are we going to do next?
Right.
So
you would get
out
now.
I would get out now because we don't know. Is there going to be a criminal suit filed now? Is there going to be a criminal charge dropped on him? We don't know. This is up in the air.
Here's what I would do if I were them, or at least I'd be thinking right now,
right,
with the information we know of. I would make sure that I have outs right now, like going forward, that as long as, like, there's no deadline on when I get out of the contract, but, I have time to get out. As long as it's down the road, I can still get out of this, I would let it play out. I would let it play out in the courtroom. I would let it play out in what the NFL does. And I would let it play out in the court of public opinion. Because, Rob, you know as well as I do, a lot of how the NFL and the Browns are going to react is going to be based on the court of public opinion. And so I would let all of that play out as long as I'm protected as far as getting out of my contract. If I have to do it, if there's something where once the NFL's, penalty comes down, you can't get out of it or something like that, now I got to move faster along the lines of what you're saying.
Okay, let me say this.
I would not rush now because, again, he does, as bad as it looks, he does still deserve his quote-unquote day in court.
Yeah,
so I would let it play.
But that also doesn't have any bearing on what happens to him NFL-wise. And I hear your point about being innocent or guilty. But here's my other issue, is if he's been disingenuous or not honest with us, Chris, I have an issue with that. If he knew about this and he let us go and put our necks out and do all that, I can't trust this guy going forward. And that would be the part that would scare me. Is that we had this conversation, right? We had this.
Yep, tell us everything.
And you didn't do it.
I agree
and
with
now
that.
Here we are at training camp or mini, whatever they're doing now, and this is what we're talking about instead of football. You could have told us this.
That's a great point. Because wasn't that, was it Kareem Hunt? That's one big reason the Chiefs got rid of him.
He
wasn't because he lied
them.
to him.
Yes.
Right. And I get that, and that's fair, and I agree with you on that. The question is, did he say to them in talking to the Browns and even maybe talking to his lawyer, look, it was a lot of women that
100.
I did this with. Right. It was right. I don't know, 60 to 100, somewhere in that range. And, the similar things happen with many of them.
Right.
I don't know all the names. You know what I mean? Is it possible something else comes out? Maybe, But so if he went there, he just may not have known that. But to your point, right, that means other women might be coming out.
That's what I'm saying.
And you got to keep dealing with this. So, it's getting bad. And remember, and here's the not the kicker, but Rob, remember, and then we'll go to the callers, listeners. Remember what his reputation was?
Spotless, Chris. It was spotless in the community.
He was known.
And he had a fiance. Didn't he have a fiance too?
Right. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't that there was just no, bad stuff happening. It was that he was viewed as, a really high character guy. You know who this is similar to, and we don't have time to get into it, but remember Kirby Puckett?
Yep.
With the Twins. So the Twin legend, great player. And similar stuff came out about him, not as much, but later on. If the Browns can void Deshaun Watson's contract, should they do it now?
All right, Chris, let's kick it off with Tony in D.C. You're on The Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What up, Tony?
Fellas, what's good? Always a pleasure. Rob, break a leg on your comedy special. I know you're going to do big things, my brother.
Man, I can't wait. Couple days, Thursday, 10:30 Pacific time. So we'll have video for you, okay?
Yeah. All right. But the Browns their management has messed this up all the way around. Because, Chris, I hear what you're saying about trying to wait it out, but the season's going to start here real soon. And on top of that, they've lost draft picks. And on top of that,
those aren't coming back. The draft picks aren't coming back. Yeah.
How deep is the rabbit hole? Who's to say that some women from Clemson don't come out the woodwork on this guy?
Oh, God. No, please.
And you burnt the bridge with Baker Mayfield. So now you gotta. It's just like completely messed up. So what do you do?
It is, and when I say you're right with the season starting soon, to me it all depends on the contract. If I can still get out of it after that, I'll let it play out. I don't have to be in a rush because this season is This season is ruined.
Right.
He's not gonna play much of it.
Chances are not good
at all. If he plays any of it, it's only gonna be a portion. And you've ruined things with Baker Mayfield, right? I can't imagine Baker Mayfield coming back in that situation. And so the season's gone already. That's why I say as long as I'm protected as far as being able to get out of this contract, I show patience and let it play out.
All right, Chris, let's go to Darrell in San Antonio. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, gentlemen? Rob,
how you doing, bro?
On Twitter, but I remember I called you guys a few months ago and told you I was a sexual assault victim advocate, so I work with victims of sexual assault.
Yes.
Remember I told you guys that I remember Deshaun Watson fit the description of the clean-cut guy that's always a predator, and it's starting to come forward, but I think people are more upset and expecting the NFL to do what the courts did. Our court system failed these young ladies. By throwing that stuff out of court in Texas, our court system don't really give sexual assault victims the respect that's due when they are victims. That's males and females that are sexually assaulted. So I think the anger needs to go towards more the court system in Texas that failed all those victims that claimed he sexually assaulted them. And then the NFL, they're going to suspend him for games. But I think more people are expecting the NFL to make up for what the court system screwed up. And the NFL is not a court of law.
Not at all.
Right. And that's the thing, Rob. Like the NFL with their investigation and all that, how in the world can they do it better than law enforcement?
Right.
Exactly.
I agree. And that is right, the system. And then I think they said, Chris, I read where they now this is separate and could open up a possible criminal if this goes to a new grand jury. This is a new case. This is not under the umbrella of what was tossed out. You know what I mean? Like this is new. So there's still a chance that there could be criminal charges.
Well, and if it's that many women that he contacted, now some of them, he said at least it was consensual.
Right.
15 of the 66 came out and spoke on his behalf. So it's not that 60 that might come out or another, 30. But it's still another, 10, 15 that could still come forward if they want.
Hey, real quick, Tommy in Fort Lauderdale. We got 1 minute. You're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio.
Hey, guys. Long-time listener, big fan of the show. Spread the love as much as possible to all the buddies. What I don't understand, and they got to get out of this contract, is we all know that females throw themselves. I mean, he's the quarterback for the Houston Texans, for God's sake. He's a good-looking man. If he has to do this to get women to have these favors with him, there's something much more perverse going on, and this is going to turn out to be a bad situation for everybody just because of his behavior and his patterns. And he's not Daryl Sharper, but he's somewhere between Tiger Woods and the sex addiction and the terrible thing that Daryl Sharper went through.
I don't even know. I mean, not condoning what Tiger was doing, but this is, Rob, Deshaun Watson, as was said, handsome, rich, wealthy,
he doesn't
famous,
need to be doing
great
this,
athlete.
Chris.
Right. He could
what are you doing?
Many women just on in regular ways, right? And so it is odd that he felt like he wanted to do it this way.
With strangers, people he didn't know.
Allegedly. Right.
There is a bigger story there.
Absolutely.
To figure out what is going on in your mind, especially, Chris, when you have so much to lose. You're with people you don't know.
Right. No doubt about it.